video is sponsored by Insta360. We're gonna do some force measurements with these things. Now, these are not available to the public yet, but they will be in the future. So I'm just gonna show you what's possible in the future. So now I just need to swim with these on my hand, and then Maria is gonna collect all the data on the app, and then we can look at it later to see how much force I'm generating at different parts of the stroke and where my faults are. Yeah, this is the closest I can get to water at the moment. But fortunately, the Insta360 camera can change your sky to look like water, so, you know, it's kind of like I'm swimming, right? But anyways, before we look into the measurements or the data from the device, I just want to point out that there's two main goals in swimming. You need to either increase your propulsive force, which is the force taking you forward, or you need to minimize your drag, which is the force slowing you down. And the device only measures the propulsive force. It doesn't tell anything about drag. So it's not so it's not some miracle number that tells you everything about your swimming technique. But anyways, it does give a lot of valuable data. So after you've swam with the device, you can export all the data into a spreadsheet format. And this can look a bit messy, but let me go through some of these things. First of all, there's a table with all your lap times, stroke rate, force in newtons, hand velocity, all kinds of numbers you can look at. And then maybe, at least for me, what was very interesting are these two graphs. So here you can see how your hand travels in water. So if we look at me from the top, you can see that on most strokes I have this kind of an S curve in my stroke, which can be good. And you can also see that the lateral movement isn't actually that big, because here we're talking about, I think, 10 centimeters each side, which is very little. And on this graph, you can see how my hand travels from the side. So you can see how deep it goes and whether I'm actually pulling water straight back. And you can also see that my hands have a very different kind of a shape to their stroke, which is interesting. Then if we go even lower here, you can start to get data from each individual stroke. There's a lot of data here. Propulsive force, vertical force, lateral force. All this is great, but there's one more thing that you get from this device, which is, I think, the most useful. And it's not in this spreadsheet. It's something else. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Insta360. If you like adventure, this truly is a worthwhile investment. Let me show you what it can do. So I just start the camera like that, and now it's capturing everything in 360. So I don't need to care about the framing, because it's both filming me and everything around me. Also, if I just extend the stick like this, the super smart algorithms in the camera remove the stick from the image, so it just looks like it's floating there. I've also added this new me mode, where you just keep the camera in front of you and the camera follows you, which is perfect for filming yourself doing sports. And after I've recorded my 360 video, I can jump on their app and choose the best framing for the video. So I never need to think about framing when I'm filming with this thing. That is the biggest reason why I think this has been my favorite camera for adventures. Because I absolutely hate if I need to be focusing on where to point the camera or how to frame the shot when I'm on an adventure, because it takes away from that venture. You can also get so many creative shots with this thing. And Insta360 is making it even easier, because in their app they have these templates for creative clips. So if you've been looking for a camera for adventures, or you just want to add some spice to your videos, this right here would be my pick. If you're interested, there's a link below. Check it out. Let's look at this stuff. So what you see here on the screen is, well, me swimming, but you can also see the amount of force I'm generating with each hand in real time. And on these graphs, the green line shows the current time. So let's stop right here. On the upper left corner, there's vertical force, meaning how much force I'm generating up or down. Next to it, you have lateral force, which is the amount of force I'm generating sideways. And for those two curves, you would want to basically minimize those forces, because you don't want to waste any force going up or down or sideways. You want all the force to go backwards. And that's what we see in the graph at the bottom of of the video. That's the amount of force I'm generating backwards. So, what can we learn from these graphs? Well, first of all, I'm creating quite a lot of vertical force, especially during the exit. So when my arm exits the water, I tend to push water upwards. And I also push water downwards a bit. But I'd say that the main problem is still me pushing water upwards when my hand exits. There's a lot of force there. On the other hand, the lateral force or sideways force is pretty minimal. And Maria said that this looks pretty good, so...
So you're not doing some funky stuff with your hands, you know, angling in or out or pushing in or out. You're good with that, so...
There's always some amount of lateral force, but my lateral force is pretty minimal here, which is good. Then if you look at the bottom graph, what was very surprising, at least to me, is that I'm generating more force with my left hand, even though it does not feel like that in water. In the water, I feel that I'm generating more force with my right hand. And this is exactly one of the reasons why force measurements can be useful. They can pinpoint these sort of false assumptions. And you can also see that I'm generating force longer with my left hand because the curve starts sloping upwards earlier. Like, how do you, it's a larger area. My right hand is generating a curve like this. My left hand is generating a curve like this. Bigger area, more force backwards. Good. And I think that the reason why I feel like my right hand is generating more force is because I tip my wrist so much. It gives me this false feeling of force. Right here, I'm just about to exit my hand from the water, and you can see that the vertical force is increasing. So I'm starting to push water upwards.
For you, it's actually trying to get into a better position in the water. Because if you reduce the drag, this amount of force will definitely help you to swim faster.
Yeah, I think it's probably the goal for most people is to reduce drag, not to increase force. I remember an Olympic swimmer saying that he's spent his whole swimming career trying to lift his hips up. So Maria is, I think, one of the only coaches in Sweden who does this force measurement for swimming. So if you're interested in that, I'll have her website in the description, so check that out. And yeah, I think it's very useful based on the things we got out of our force measurements. So. Filming?
Yeah, I've been filming for 30 seconds.
Oh, so one final thing. Insta360 now has a January or New Year sale, and they have discounts up to 20%. And if you use my link below, they will also add a free gift to your order. So if you've planned some adventures for 2023 and you want to film them, this is a prime opportunity. So check it out, click the link below, and Happy New Year of 2023. Is that how you say it? Happy New Year of 2023. Bye.